Hi, welcome. Let me get my screen turned on here and we'll get started. All right. Should be seeing my screen now. Let's see. Looks like we got some more people joining. Hi, Alex.
Hey, Greg, how are you?
I'm very good. How are you?
Oh, hang in there, man.
Good. Let's see. And then, if I'm saying this correctly, Geisha. I think this is if I'm not mistaken, this is your first training to be in. Alex, you've been in a few, so
Yep.
We'll see who else shows up, but I want to make sure we kind of focus our time on the right things that's going to be most valuable to you guys. Alex, is there anything in particular you were looking to see or learn today?
I'm waiting on that company to give me an answer on the emails because everything is on hold. I haven't done anything with your system yet. So I will eventually create the emails and all that stuff. That's what I want to do.
Okay. You mean the company about what is it called? Property Reach?
Like yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, good. Well, we have a new feature actually that is being released in a week that'll make that kind of easier, but I'll tell you more about that. I'll email you about that.
Okay. It's more for business, I guess.
Well, it's just an easier way to cleanse the list and you don't have to cleanse the whole list.
Okay.
So,
yeah, we want to make sure the domain is healthy, right?
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Okay, well, we've got, let's see, Euler is here. I believe this is your first training too, Euler.
Yes.
Is that right?
Yes.
And Cesar is here. I think Cesar's been in one or two before. Well, I guess let me do this. I will try to start off with the basics because I know that's we want to make sure Euler and Geisha get off to a good start, and then we'll try to leave plenty of time for everybody's questions. Sort of the second half of things. Let's see. So for you guys, let me just make sure. Yeah, you're seeing my screen, right? Okay. Yeah, for you guys that are just getting started with the system, the main thing that we want to do is help you organize your customers so that then you can automate everything around different groups of customers. And as a customer moves from one group to another, right, they go from being a lead to a customer and then eventually possibly a former customer. You have different messages and different things you want to do with those customers at each of those stages. So we want to try and automate all of the follow-up and messaging. And that's what we'll show you today. Before we get into that, though, just want to make sure everybody knows how to get in touch and get help when you need it. First of all, you can just go to the website and you go to salesnexus.com/support, and you'll see all of our training videos there, as well as options to search our knowledge base and get in touch with the support team. You can search the knowledge base when you're logged on to SalesNexus. You'll see it down here in the bottom right where you see the little orange chat button. Sometimes it'll say help. But if you just type in what you're interested in, the system will come back and give you different articles about that topic. And, these are real helpful articles with screenshots and sometimes videos. And they're going to show you how to create your first email template in this case. Let's see. So make sure and take advantage of that. And then finally, just email support@salesnexus.com if you have questions that you can't find an answer to. There's no limits. We're not going to tell you you've asked too many questions, you know. Our average reply time is less than 2 hours, and our average resolution time is less than an hour. I'm sorry, not less than an hour, less than a day. So point is, you're not going to have to wait, you know, till 2 days from now just to hear back from us. You ask a question, you get answers, you go back to work. So, okay, let's get into it. So the main thing, the sort of step one in setting up SalesNexus is organizing your customers so that you can do this. You know, just come in and say, I want to look at, you know, all of my clients. And there's my 918 clients, right? Or I want to look at all of my active brokers, you know, depending on what kind of business you're in. And here's my 131 active brokers, you know. So you want to be able to grab a list of customers based on criteria that's important to you and do things with it, right? So that's what I mean by organizing customers. And when we do that in SalesNexus, we do that mainly with what we call fields. So on this screen, you can see, you know, I have square footage and property address, things that if I'm in the real estate business, I might want to know about my customers, right? Over here on the right, I can choose my real estate investing tab, and I have more real estate fields. But SalesNexus is easy to customize for any business. Doesn't matter if you're in real estate or insurance or, you know, making crazy widgets of some sort. Once you've decided kind of how you want to organize things, the way a lot of people will do it is on the left side, you want to put the things that you have to know about everybody, right? Regardless of whether they're a lead or a client or something else. And then over on the right, you might have additional information that you need to know about them as they get sort of deeper into a relationship with you. Or some people will do it more based on products. Maybe I offer investment services, so I have fields related to that. I'm sorry, did somebody have a question?
Discover card.
Okay. Yeah, so, you know, investments and insurance, right? I might sell both. And so I have have those fields organized on 2 different tabs over here, if that makes sense. And the way you lay this out, so it's really just the way you want it, is you go up here to edit layout, that little orange gear. And then here I can get rid of those real estate related fields. And over on the left, I can find other fields that are more relevant to my business. So maybe I need to know, you know, what type of building it is and what type of equipment it has. And, you know, maybe something really specific, like what kind of gas pump do they have? So I'm going to take those fields and put them at the top so they'll be easy to find. So I just save that. And now you see those new fields here on the screen. So that's all there is to it. You lay out these fields the way you want to see them. And then you do the same thing over on the right. You can see here, there's a little edit layout button that lets you do the same exact thing on the right side. So when you're talking to Aaron, you know, you can easily just point and click to enter the information that Aaron's sharing with you, right? And now all of that information can be used to create, you know, to add Aaron to different lists that are going to be important to you in your business. So there are a lot of fields already built into your SalesNexus account, but you may want to create some very specific ones. So to do that, you just go up here to Settings, Organize and Customize, and then you can go through the list of all the existing fields, and maybe you just want to make a change to the, like in this case, the doctor field. You can see it's a little drop down, and I can add to that drop down by just hitting plus. Or I can add a new field by hitting plus. So, you know, let's imagine that I'm in the roofing business, and I want to know what kind of roofing material they're using, right? Is it a shingles or tile or wood or something else, right? So I'm going to create a field called roof material, and I'm going to say, yes, I want it to be a drop down. And then I save that. And then over here on the right, we can put in the drop down list. So I'll say shingles, and I don't know why, but I don't think tile is the right word. What do they call that one? Like you have the Spanish style architecture. I can't remember. I'm just going to use tile. Flat roof, like on an apartment building or something. So whatever, you can put whatever you want in that list. Now I've got this field. Now what do I do with it? Well, I want to go back to a customer record, and we'll do that edit layout again. And we'll put it on the screen. So it's a two-step process. So now I'm going to go down here and find roof material. Move it to the right. Put it on the top. Hit save. And there it is. So pretty simple, pretty easy. The goal that I like to think about is you want to be able to have your phone in one hand and your mouse in the other and easily enter the answers to all the questions that you're normally going to ask a customer, right? Just point and click. You're not typing a bunch of notes, right? Because when you come back to Matt here 6 months from now, it's easy to recall, oh, he's using compact gas pumps and he's got shingles on his roof. You know, you don't have to go through pages of notes and history and stuff. Anybody have any questions about that so far? Just creating the fields and laying them out on the screen. Okay. You guys don't be shy about asking questions and interrupting me as we go. That's the whole point. It's for you guys to learn what you need to know. So ask away. Now, next step would be, great. Now I can organize Matt, you know, sort of one customer at a time, but I want to organize lists now, right? So what I'm going to do is go to contacts and create lookup. And we're just going to create custom lists using your criteria, your fields, like we've been working on. So I might say, you know, I want to make sure that the type of building is a warehouse and the roof material is flat, right? Because I have some product that if that's their situation, I've got the answer for them, right? So I'm probably not going to get anything back because I haven't filled out that field for any customers yet, but I'll pull up an existing one. Loan status in process. If I'm in the mortgage business, that's going to be an important one for me, right? The point being, you can make your search very detailed with, you know, 7, 8 fields that you're using to, you know, as your criteria here. And then you just go here and save it. So it appears in this drop down in the future, and you don't have to worry about setting all those criteria in those fields in the future, right? So then once you do that, all you got to do is go to contacts, view all contacts, and all those same saved lookups appear right here in this list. So that you can just grab, like we looked at earlier, all your clients, all your brokers, all your leads. And there's some other capabilities that may matter to some of you guys, like, you know, I want to manage lists per salesperson, right? So Jill's leads versus Sam's leads. You can do the same thing, and I'll show you here. The key field in terms of organizing ownership of contacts and accounts is this record manager field you see right here. That's our field for, you know, the owner of a contact or an account, the salesperson typically. And so you can add that to your criteria. I want all my active brokers that are owned by Jill, you know. Okay, anybody have any questions about creating lists and saved lookups? Okay. Well, all right, now what we'll do is we'll move on to creating campaigns and email campaigns, text campaigns, and things like that. And then we'll link the two together, turning on an entire campaign for one of those lists, right? So first things first, when you're creating your first email campaign, you go up here to campaigns, email templates, and here you have all kinds of pre-designed email templates that you can start with. Or you can create, you know, start with a text only version. I'll just start with that to keep it simple. So that's just going to open that template in our template editor. And now formatting the text is pretty straightforward. You know, you can copy and paste in here and all of that. But you see, you get this toolbar and you can format the text however you want. The important thing to know about, though, is you can mail merge it. So if, let's say that I'm in the insurance business and I need to create a email that's going to alert people that their policy is coming up for renewal, right? Well, I can say your policy is due for renewal on, and then I can go here to merge tags. See that little button there in the toolbar? And here I say add a contact field, and I'm going to put in my renewal date field. And so it puts the right code in there so that now every time that email is sent out, it's going to put in that customer's renewal date. And you can mail merge data into these templates from any of your custom fields. Could be just, you know, first names and company names and things like that, or it could be very specific account numbers and things like that. Now we've got a text email, but if you want to add to it, you go over here on the right and click content. And here you have all the other types of content you can add into the template. So if I want to add an image, I'll just drag that over here and then browse to insert an image. So here you'll have a library of everything you've ever uploaded to SalesNexus in the past, or, you know, you can just upload a new one here with the upload button right there. I'll just grab this one. And then over here on the right, you can play around with the size of that image and so on. If you uncheck this little box, you get a little slider that lets you just easily resize it. And then you can put a link right here, you know, so whatever the link is that you want that, you know, when they click on the image, you want them to go somewhere on your website, you put that link right there. Now, if I want to add a button, let's say, I can just go back to content and button and drag that right there. Or actually, it should say renew now, right? And then here, you would put the link that you want that button to take them to right there in this URL box. So you can see it's pretty simple. There's a lot you can do with these templates, a lot of bells and whistles over on the right in terms of playing with colors and sizes and fonts and all kinds of stuff. But I won't get into all of that right now. Just a few things that everybody really has to know. First of all, you want to make sure and save it. And then over here on the left, you see the actions menu. So there you can preview, and that, you know, just what's it going to look like, right? And you notice over here you have desktop and mobile. Click on mobile because at least 50% of your emails will be opened on a mobile device. And sometimes when you're, especially when you're doing images and things like that, it'll look a little different than you expect on a mobile device. So you just want to double check that. Now I can exit that and go back to actions, and I can go send test, meaning just send it to me. I'm going to put in my personal email address here and hit send. And that way I can just look at it in my inbox, right? And then finally, under actions, save as template. That just saves a copy, right? So I'll just save another copy of that same email. So it's going to create a new email, same exact content, different name. You know, this one we might change and say, this is your second reminder, right? And now save that. Now we have two templates that look almost exactly the same, slightly different message, right? So that's creating an email template. Now, when we have our template ready to go, we can go up here to start campaign with this template. And it'll ask you to give it a subject line. I'll choose your policy renewal and give the campaign a name. Hit next. And you see now it's opened up our campaign builder. So if all you want to do is send them one email, then you're pretty much done. I would just save it right here and then say save and begin campaign. But before we do that, the power of SalesNexus is really that you can add more than one email into your campaign. It can be multiple steps, right? So here, maybe I want to send a second email 2 or 3 days later, right? So down here where you see it says add, and then you have this drop down. I can choose emails, to-dos, calls, meetings, SMS or text messages, and webhooks as well. I'm just going to do another email. So I'll hit the add button. And let's say we want to send that 3 days later. And here, I'm going to choose a subject and find that template that we created by just typing in the name here and save. And now I have a 2-step campaign, a first email and then a second email 3 days later, right? Now I can keep going. You get the idea. I could say the third step is a text message. So I'll add that, and I'll go here and I'll say, let's send that on the 5th day of the campaign. And then over here on the right, I can choose the mail merge template for their first name. And I might want to mail merge in their actual policy number, right? So I choose that and hit save. And now maybe the fourth thing I want to do is call them. So, you know, we've emailed them twice, we've text messaged them. They still haven't renewed their policy. All right, fine. I'm going to go ahead and call them, right? So I'll put that on the 7th day. And up here, I can hit the little plus button and type in what that call is going to be about. So I'll just call it a renewal call. Hit save. And now we've got this 4-step sequence. I'll save that. And now we're ready to begin it, right? We can save and begin, or we can automate it, which we'll come back to that. I'll show you that in a minute. But let's just save and begin campaign. So now I get to choose when, let's say tomorrow morning at 8:30. And here I choose which contacts are going to go on that campaign. And so you see it says current lookup 1. Well, obviously I want to send it to more than one person. So what I can do is choose one of those saved lookups that we worked on earlier. So I click Saved Lookup here, and I choose that all clients list, right? And it tells me there's 918 people on that list. Add begin campaign, confirm it. We're done. It's all set it and forget it. All those emails and the text message that it's going to go out automatically, even if you're on vacation. The only thing you need to know is on the 7th day, you're going to come in and look at your task list, and it's going to tell you that you got a lot of people to call, right? Because that was the 4th step of that campaign. Anybody have any questions about that so far? Any questions? Okay. All right, we'll keep going. So now that's the process for, I want to send a campaign to a whole list of people all at once, right? But to really take it to another level, you want every individual lead or customer going through their own sequence based on the status of their relationship with you, not and personalized to them, right? That's where our automation plans come in. So if you go back up to campaigns here, go to automation plans. We'll set up the rules for when should these campaigns get triggered. So here I have a renewal campaign already created, and you'll kind of see how it works. When the renewal date, and these are just, you know, any of your custom fields in the CRM, when the renewal date is less than 3 months from now, right? Then trigger this campaign. So let me go back to that now that I've resaved it. There we go. So you can make this criteria as detailed as you want. Maybe it's when the renewal date is less than 3 months from now, and the record manager, not creator, Well, why can't I find that field? Record creator is equal to, you know, Jill Smith, right? So I'm creating an automation that will trigger this campaign automatically for only Jill's accounts, not everyone's, right? But you can create as many or add as many criteria as you want here, including sales fields. So you might want to say, and the policy amount is, you know, more than $5,000 or whatever, you know. And then anytime these things are true, that campaign will get triggered for that contact. Anybody have any questions about that? Okay. Let me take a step back here because I want to make sure there's a couple of sort of setup things that you need to know about. Number one, for emails. There's two things that you really have to do before you can send emails. You go to settings and then email. Number one, you want to make sure here, set up company profile. Make sure this is filled out. This what SalesNexus does is automatically puts at the bottom of your email who it was sent from. So it's going to identify you. And it's going to add the unsubscribe link as well so that they can opt out if they want to. And that's legally required when you're doing bulk email. So you just got to fill out this company profile, and SalesNexus takes care of the rest. And then also, you want to set up DKIM. That's so that you can send from your domain. So you put in your domain here, and when you hit save, it'll give you this cryptic code here that you just copy. And then you can click right here and it'll bring up a help article that'll show you exactly how to add that code to your DNS as a text record. So that essentially what's happening there is you're putting a record in your domain that tells the internet that the emails that we send from our server are legitimately yours. They're not some kind of scam or spam or whatever. And so it just makes sure that your email is going to end up in the inbox. So 2 setup things for email. Set up your company profile, set up your DKIM. Now, while we're here, another thing that you should try for sure is email capture settings. You can connect to your Gmail or your Outlook account. And what happens there is SalesNexus will automatically grab every email that you're sending and receiving through Gmail or Outlook. These are not the emails sent from SalesNexus, but just regular emails. We'll grab those emails and try to find a customer in your CRM that matches and automatically attach the email to each customer's record so that you have that history of all the emails you've exchanged with those customers. So that's the email capture settings. Any questions about that so far? No? Okay. All right. And then the other thing I wanted to be sure and point out for everybody is connecting to your web form on your website. So you've probably got a contact us form or, you know, a sign up form or something on your site. So, and that's, you know, when somebody fills that out, that's a hot lead, right? Well, you can connect it right to SalesNexus so that they'll automatically go in the CRM and automatically get responses from you. So you do that by going to settings and then integrations and then website. And the way this works is first you choose the fields in SalesNexus that match the fields in your form on your website. So if I just hit choose fields here, this will look kind of familiar. I just choose the fields. These are all your SalesNexus fields, and you can see I already have first name, email, phone. Maybe we just have a really simple form, and it's just first name, last name, email, phone, and that's it that the form asks the visitor to fill out, right? I added lead source and status in here, and I'll show you why I did that. Now I'm going to save that, and you'll see. So now those are the fields that I see down here. And what we need to do is map these SalesNexus fields to the fields in your form. And without getting too technical, if I go here and choose name, you have to look in your website to see how that field is named, but it might be something like this, F name, and then the name of the last name field is L name, and the name of the email address is email, and the name of the phone is phone. And then here, lead source is a field in SalesNexus that we use, and it's in your database too. It's intended to be used to keep track of where did you get this lead from. Was it somebody you met at a networking event? Was it somebody that filled out the form on your website, or something else, right? So you can separate those and analyze things in those terms. So right here, what I want to do is make sure that that's always set to website when the lead is added to my CRM by the web form, right? So I just do lead source is a constant, and it's always going to be website when this website lead capture is working. And then status, I probably want to make that something like new lead. Status is the field where we keep track of, are they a lead or a prospect or a customer or something else. And then submit, similar to the other fields, it's probably something like submit, but you have to look on your site to figure that out. And then once you got all this done, you hit save and generate script, and it's just going to give you a little JavaScript that you just copy, and you go to your website and you paste that JavaScript into your website so that when the submit button is clicked by the visitor, that JavaScript gets called, and that's it. Now the leads go straight into SalesNexus. Anybody have any questions about that? That's one of those ones, if you're not a web expert, it can be a little daunting, but don't be shy. You kind of can't break anything. And use the help article that's here. It'll walk you through how to do it in WordPress, which is, the most common platform that we run into. And then if you need help, you just email support@salesnexus.com, and they have a lot of tools that they can help you troubleshoot what might be going on. So now imagine you've got people coming to your website, they're filling out the form, the leads are going right into SalesNexus. And so all you got to do is come in the morning, you go to your task list, and I'm going to let's pretend I'm Mary here. And here's the people that I need to call today, right? Follow-up calls, for John, I need to create a contract for him. He gave me the verbal order yesterday, right? But up here at the top, you see Adam Benjamin, new web lead. So that's somebody that filled out that form last night while I was sleeping. They came to my website and filled out that form, and now they're in SalesNexus, and they're automatically added to a campaign. And so part of that campaign is just that, that task or alert for me, but it could also be, they're getting emails and text messages and everything else while I'm sleeping, right? So that's the idea. The other thing that people really need to see, if you're going to be in sales mode, either yourself or if you're going to have salespeople that you're managing with SalesNexus. Either way, the name of the game is being efficient at making the follow-up calls, right? If you're the business owner, the problem you have is you're wearing 1,500 different hats and you don't have enough time in the day. And when you get that 30 minutes or an hour in your schedule that you actually can make some follow-up calls and try to do some selling, you got to be productive, right? You can't be wasting your time trying to figure out people's phone number or remember why you're even calling them, right? So you want it to be organized like this. Today, I need to call these people. I'm going to call Adam first because he's a new lead that, requested information on my website. So I click his name. And you notice here it says 1 of 10. That's because I'm really working with that list of 10 calls that I need to make. So I can click, dial the phone, and talk to Adam. And while I'm talking to Adam, I'm entering the answers to all these questions and categorizing Adam so that he shows up on the right lists, in the future. And then if I need to send him a follow-up email, I hit email template and select the template that I want to send, hit send, and out it goes. So I don't have to waste time, rewriting the same follow-up email. Based on the fact that I filled out that he's doing fast food and fine dining, that by itself could have triggered an automation to make sure that he's going to get the emails about our experience in the fast food business or whatever, right? But when I'm done with Adam, I just hit next, and now I'm on the next person on my call list. I click, I dial the phone, I start entering answers as I ask Bob different questions, and you can see that life can get pretty simple so that I'm able to go through a list of calls in a very short amount of time, but still keep everything organized, right? By updating these fields as I go, I'm keeping them organized in my CRM, and I'm triggering the right follow-up actions automatically, right? So you can make a lot of calls in a little bit of time once you get things organized like this. One of the hardest things I find when we are hiring salespeople at SalesNexus is convincing them that my calling goals for them are realistic, right? They just don't believe that you can make 50 to 100 calls in an hour, but you can. I do it all the time. So that's the goal, right? Imagine if in your business, you were able to make 50 to 100 calls in an hour and reach out to that many potential customers. And in the background, the system's sending out emails and making sure people are getting other kinds of messages from you. It's just expanding your reach, which is going to result in more customers, right? That's the goal. Okay, well, what else? What other questions do you guys have? What have I not touched on that we should make sure and spend a little time on?
I think for me, I just need to rewatch all the training videos and get comfortable using the system, I guess.
Sure. Yeah. One thing, I'll put it in the chat here for you. Well, I should just ask you, do you think you sort of know the fields that you want to have in your database?
I think I do. I think what I'm gonna do is log in completely and just to view what kind of fields he has, because I do have like a sheet in which I want to separate the leads and stuff,
Yeah.
and other keywords. So yeah, I think I do. But once I see the whole thing, then I'll be able to maybe tweak it a little bit more.
Sure. Well, I put a link in the chat here to what we call our 4 steps to market domination. And it's a real helpful guide to help you decide on how you want to organize things and just, what are the fields and what are the different campaigns that I need to be thinking about building and stuff like that. So that might be helpful to everyone. Also, I should show you on our site. Let's see. I want to make sure I don't mess this up. If you go to SalesNexus.com, go to help. Here's all the training videos, basically everything in the application broken down into 3 to 5 minute little videos. And here you have this 4 steps to market domination onboarding training series. So this is kind of designed to be a, guide you through setting up the system. So take advantage of that. It's a total of, I think, like 30 minutes worth of videos for all 5 of these. So it's not real long and drawn out. And then also, if you go here to training, here's where you've got our recorded training sessions that you can watch, including one that's just on email marketing, everything from setting up the DKIM and all of that we looked at earlier, all the way to kind of best practices and how do I write a good email that's going to get results and things like that. So you got a lot of resources to tap into here. And then finally, you can always email us at support@salesnexus.com, and we'll be Johnny on the spot to answer any questions you have. What else? Anybody else? Any other questions? No?
Okay.
Well, like I say, you guys are welcome to reach out to us as often as you need to. Don't be shy about it. We love to help. Our goal is to help you get where you're going with your business. So whatever it takes. We'll be doing this again next Tuesday. So, if you, like Euler was just saying, get into the system, try a few things. You'll run into a few questions, no doubt. Come back next Tuesday and we can answer any questions that you have. So, all right, with that, I will let you guys get back to it. Thank you guys for your time. I really appreciate it. And like I said before, we're happy to help. Just let us know. Y'all have a great rest of the day. Thank you.